10 signs a woman is in love with you but scared to show it, psychology tricks. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Nat King Cole. You're not imagining it. She remembers every tiny detail you've shared, goes strangely quiet when another woman's name slips into the conversation, and somehow always finds herself in the same place as you are. Yet, when emotions run deep, she pulls away as if it burns to get too close. This isn't random. It's the classic push and pull of a woman who may be falling for you but is terrified of what that love could mean. If you miss the signs, you risk two mistakes: chasing too hard and scaring her off, or walking away too soon and never realizing what she truly felt. Some men swear it's simple: if she wants you, you'll know. Others argue the signals are subtle, hidden beneath layers of fear, old wounds, and vulnerability she doesn't dare show. Where do you stand? In this video, we'll uncover 10 powerful signs that reveal what's really going on beneath her surface. More importantly, I'll show you how to respond like a man who leads with confidence and clarity, not confusion. So before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and share your take below. Do women send mixed signals on purpose, or are they simply guarding their hearts? Your answer says more than you think. It reveals how you interpret love itself. Now let's break down the first sign that could flip your entire perspective on her feelings. Number 1, nervous energy. When her body leaks the truth before her lips ever dare. Picture this. You're standing in front of a woman and suddenly it's like her whole operating system glitches. She's twirling her hair like it owes her money, shifting from foot to foot as if the ground just turned into lava, laughing way too hard at a joke that even you didn't think was funny. You ask a simple question, and she fumbles the answer like it's a pop quiz she didn't study for. Her eyes dart, her fingers play with her necklace like it's her emotional seatbelt, and you're left wondering, is she broken? Or is this female psychology spilling secrets she's trying to hide? Here's the raw truth. This is nervous energy, and it's often the first crack in the armor when a woman is feeling something deep, but is too scared to label it love. But don't be the guy who mistakes every fidget for fireworks. Stop before you start planning the wedding playlist. Think, use logic. Her nervous system is lighting up because attraction doesn't knock politely. It barges in, slams the door, and floods her brain with adrenaline, dopamine, and cortisol. That cocktail? It quickens her pulse, shakes her hands, and sabotages her perfect composure. That's psychology tricks in motion. Biology meeting emotion. Her body is revealing what her mouth refuses to risk. But be warned, nervousness is not a love letter written in body language alone. A woman can twitch and stammer around a boss she respects, a man she fears, or even when she's hiding a guilty secret. Nervousness is simply arousal of the nervous system. It's not a billboard that screams, "I'm in love." And here's where too many men fall into the trap. They're lonely, starved for affection, and desperate to believe every nervous giggle is Cupid's arrow. Don't do it. Don't confuse your hope with her truth, because confusion will wreck you faster than rejection ever will. I've seen men misread anxious energy, rush in, and crash straight into humiliation or worse, the eternal gray zone of the friend zone. So what's the play? Test it. Watch her in the wild. Observe how she acts around others, especially men she clearly doesn't want romantically. Is she just as jittery with the cashier, her coworker, or her brother-in-law? If yes, then she's simply wired that way. An anxious or introverted personality, not a secret admirer. But if her nervousness spikes only around you in quiet or intimate settings, then yes, your radar should buzz. Still, don't go charging in like a puppy who finally found someone willing to pet him. Your job isn't to decode her nervousness like a cryptographer chasing clues. Your job is to hold your frame, be calm, be steady, don't mirror her chaos. Speak with ease, keep your eye contact steady, but not suffocating, and create space where her nervous system doesn't feel like it's on trial. If it's attraction, she'll soften, she'll lean in, her laughter will stop sounding like static, and the signals will get clearer. If it's not, congratulations, you just dodged an emotional landmine. That's how grown men win the long game in love. Remember, women don't just lie with words. Sometimes they lie with silence. Sometimes their truth slips out through shaky hands, darting eyes, and nervous laughter. But truth is only valuable if you're man enough to face it without reacting like a boy who just got noticed for the first time. Stay grounded, stay curious, and above all, don't confuse fidgeting with feelings. That, gentlemen, is how you master female psychology. How to fall in love without falling into fantasy, and how to play the game of attraction with clarity instead of chaos. Number 2, close attention, distant eyes. When she remembers everything about you, except how to actually let you in. You've probably met this woman before. She remembers your coffee order from 2 months ago, the exact way you roll up your sleeves, or even a random joke you dropped in passing. But when it comes to replying to your last 3 texts, silence. Suddenly, she's busier than a Fortune 500 CEO. That's not randomness. That's calculated distance. Don't be fooled. If you're not careful, it'll play tricks on your mind. Most men think, if she remembers me, she must like me. Wrong. Memory isn't love. Attention isn't commitment. And emotional awareness, that doesn't always equal emotional availability. Let me put it straight. Some women observe you not because they're ready to love you, but because they're terrified of losing control around you. Big difference. The psychology behind it. When she notices every detail, the band you grew up listening to, how your tone shifts when you talk about your father, or how you check your phone at 9 o'clock in the evening like clockwork, she's not just being sweet, she's building a psychological profile. And that can mean one of 2 things. She's deeply curious about you. She's preparing herself not to fall too deep, especially women who've been hurt before. They've learned what I call intimacy surveillance. They stand outside the house of emotional connection, admiring the architecture, but refuse to walk through the door. You talk, she listens. You open up. She nods with soft, understanding eyes. But the second you say, you feel like someone I could trust, she changes the subject or vanishes for 3 days. That's not coincidence. That's her defense system locking the gates. What's really going on? She's emotionally invested, but strategically withdrawn. She wants to feel close without actually being vulnerable. And that's dangerous. Why? Because it traps you in limbo. You think you're building something real, but she's just rehearsing how far she can get before her defenses slam shut. Now, don't assume she's faking. Most of the time, it's unconscious. Her nervous system has learned that closeness equals pain. So she'll let herself get just close enough to feel connection, but not close enough to risk exposure. How a high-value man handles it. Here's where most men crash and burn. They confuse her effort to understand them with permission to love her. Wrong. Those are 2 different currencies. One is observation, the other is vulnerability. And if she's not ready to exchange vulnerability, then to her, you're not her man. You're just a beautiful distraction from her loneliness. So how do you handle this? Simple. Don't chase her openness. Test her consistency. When she remembers something small, acknowledge it, but don't over-reward it. Don't mistake selective memory for emotional readiness. Instead, guide the interaction with purpose. Ask about trust. Ask how she handles conflict. Watch her response. If she stays present, good. If she pulls away, take note. Don't judge, don't lecture, just collect the data. Because a high-value man never clings to emotional breadcrumbs. He honors his masculine energy by staying grounded, patient, and discerning. That's how you attract women who are truly ready. So next time a woman pays close attention but avoids emotional depth, don't treat it as a puzzle to solve or a challenge to win. Treat it as a sign. Hold your ground. Let her step forward. Because a woman who really wants in won't just catalog your stories. She'll start offering her own. And that's the difference between being observed and being truly loved. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember. I value consistency over attention. Number 3, silent jealousy. Silent jealousy is one of the sharpest signs a woman is in love with you but too afraid to reveal it. And if you don't catch it, you'll miss the truth that hides beneath her polite smile. Don't be fooled, jealousy isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with slammed doors or dramatic accusations. Sometimes it's hidden in the tightening of her jaw, in the way her laugh turns mechanical when another woman's name slips into your story, in those seemingly harmless questions like, "So, is that coworker of yours single?" That isn't idle curiosity, that's veiled concern. That's her mind wrestling with fear, trying to process a threat without laying her heart bare. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And that's exactly what silent jealousy is, a storm brewing inside while she forces herself to act calm. Psychology tells us jealousy is rooted in survival instincts. It's a reflex to protect what we value. And when a woman secretly loves you, her iron mind is fighting between holding back and letting slip the truth of her emotions. But here's the warning: don't confuse her jealousy with guaranteed love. Some women guard their position out of insecurity or ego, not genuine devotion. Don't be misled by the green-eyed monster disguised as affection. As Seneca said, he suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary. Apply that wisdom here. Don't project love where there may only be control. A man with stoicism wins by testing the fallout. Mention another woman lightly, then observe. Does she freeze and retreat, or does she engage with calm curiosity? Does she bring it up again later, showing her heart couldn't let it go? Or was it nothing more than a flash of control, gone as quickly as it appeared? That is your compass. Don't weaponize her jealousy to feed your ego. That's the move of boys. A man of discipline observes, holds frame, and responds with calm authority. Don't rush to call her out. Don't push her into exposure. Instead, wait. Let her reveal her truth through her consistency. In modern life, where distractions are endless and everyone is fighting for attention, the ability to recognize silent jealousy is a weapon. It shows you who is truly invested and who is only protecting their pride. You must remember, a woman who truly loves will eventually express that jealousy through protective behavior or confession, while a woman who only wants validation will turn it into a contest you never agreed to play. Don't fall for the wrong kind of attention disguised as emotion. Don't mistake possession for passion. Don't mistake insecurity for intimacy. As Marcus Aurelius declared, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the essence of Stoicism win. You must hold an iron mind and refuse to be swayed by surface emotions. Let's be clear, jealousy is not proof of love, it's proof of fear. Only when that fear transforms into consistent action, into openness, into protective care, does it hint at real love. Men between 30 years and 70s take this as a command, not a suggestion. Learn to see beyond the smile, beyond the tone, beyond the silence. Don't be trapped by illusions. Stand firm, master your frame, and let old Stoic wisdom guide you. Observe, test, and discern. That is how you win. That is how you master not only her emotions, but your own. That is how you protect yourself from being played by shadows. And that is how you turn the battlefield of love into victory, with Stoicism win, with an iron mind, with the strength to separate what is real from what is nothing more than polite jealousy hiding in the dark. Number 4, accidental presence. When she's always just around but never truly available, pay attention. You think it's a coincidence you keep bumping into her at the same coffee shop, the same events, or even online when she just happens to reply to your vulnerable post with a perfectly timed "how's your week going?" Once might be chance. Twice could still be fate, but when it becomes a pattern, don't be blind. That is female psychology at work. an emotional hovering that keeps her orbiting your life but never landing. Be sharp enough to see that proximity is not pursuit. A woman who is in love but too scared to show it might use these little psychology tricks as emotional insurance. She won't commit, but she also won't allow anyone else to take her place. She will appear at the exact places she knows you'll be, acting shocked. Oh wow, what are you doing here? Yet her timing is suspiciously flawless. She'll offer casual help, like carrying a bag or proofreading a text, not because she must, but because it keeps her close. She'll check in with sweet, surface-level questions that seem caring, but carefully avoid vulnerability. Don't misread it. That's not a declaration of love, it's strategic positioning. Men must learn this. Access does not equal intention. Don't confuse supportive emojis and lighthearted check-ins with a woman choosing you. That's like window shopping without ever buying. You're giving her the dopamine of closeness without her risking rejection. She hovers to feel safe, not to commit. And here's the brutal twist. She often doesn't even realize she's doing it. Her heart pulls her toward you, but her mind screams danger. So she compromises, she shows up, but never steps through the door. It's emotional hedging. It's not malicious. It's survival. But you must protect your emotional real estate. Don't reward proximity. Don't keep pouring your attention into her just because she's physically around. Your attention must be earned, not gifted. Be bold enough to call the pattern if needed. Say calmly, I notice you're always around, but it feels like you're never really here. Is that intentional? Her answer will reveal everything. Remember, a woman who truly wants to be in your life will not just orbit the window. She'll knock, enter, and stay. If she keeps hovering, refusing vulnerability, she's not choosing you. She's choosing access to you. And access without commitment, that's nothing more than a rental agreement on your heart. Protect it. Because in the world of female psychology and the subtle psychology tricks of love, the difference between presence and pursuit is the difference between wasting time and learning how to fall in love with someone who actually chooses you. And if you see through the hover but never land game, comment this right now. My attention is earned, not rented. Hit that like button, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remember, access without commitment is just emotional window shopping. Number 5, emotional push-pull. Let's talk about one of the most confusing and magnetic experiences you'll ever have with a woman, the emotional push-pull. Picture this. One night, you're sitting across from her. The conversation isn't small talk anymore, it's soul talk. She lets you peek behind the curtain, her childhood scars, the father she no longer speaks to, the reason her smile sometimes looks like it's hiding a bruise. Her voice softens, her eyes grow warm, and for a moment you think, this is it. Connection, real intimacy, and then silence. The next day, she's colder than the other side of the pillow, irritated, distant. You send a thoughtful message, something you meant from the heart, and all you get back is a dry, yeah, thanks. Like last night never even happened. Welcome, my friend, to the dizzying world of push-pull. Why she retreats after opening up. Here's the secret. When a woman scared of love cracks her walls for even a heartbeat, what comes next isn't more closeness, it's panic. Think about it. Somewhere in her past, intimacy wasn't safe. Maybe she trusted and got betrayed. Maybe she gave her heart to someone who only gave crumbs back. Whatever the story, closeness became a cliff edge, thrilling but terrifying. So when you stir those emotions, her subconscious slams the brakes. She retreats. Not because you messed up, but because her brain just yelled, danger, back up, the mistake most men make. Now here's where most men blow it. She pulls away, and they chase. Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Talk to me. Big mistake. The more you push, the more she runs. Why? Because you just confirmed her deepest fear. Intimacy equals pressure. Don't do it. Don't chase. Don't smother. Don't let desperation replace your masculine energy. Flip your instincts upside down. Mirror her energy. If she backs away, don't collapse. Don't punish her with silence, but don't reward the retreat either. Be steady. Be calm. Be the high-value man who doesn't need constant reassurance to feel secure. That is how you attract women who are worth your time. Because here's the truth, consistency beats chaos. If you reward her vanishing act, you'll end up stuck in an emotional loop. Open up, retreat, connect, vanish, over and over again. Loops don't build love, they breed resentment and confusion. Read the data, not the drama. Every pullback is information. Does she stay distant for a day or a week? Does she acknowledge it or act like nothing happened? Does she reconnect deeply or skim the surface as if nothing real ever passed between you? This is the data you need. And if the pattern repeats, intimacy followed by disappearance, it's not just fear, it's emotional chaos. And unless she's doing the hard work to heal herself, you'll drown trying to save her. Don't play lifeguard for someone afraid to swim. Your role in the push-pull. Understand this. She's not testing you. She's testing herself. She's wrestling with her own fear of closeness. Your role isn't to prove you're safe. Your role is to remain stable, confident, unshaken. That is the essence of masculine energy. That is what a high-value man does. If she's meant to move forward, she'll come back, not out of guilt, not because you begged, but because she's grown enough to handle intimacy. And if she keeps retreating, then you must let her go. The bottom line. You're not here to be a landing pad for someone afraid to fly. You're here to live as a man of strength, clarity, and purpose. You're here to attract women who can stand beside you, not vanish when things get real. So the next time you experience that emotional push-pull, remember, don't chase, don't fold, don't drown. Be steady, be grounded, be the man she either rises to meet or the man she loses because she wasn't ready. Number 6, silent support. Don't dismiss it, don't underestimate it. When a woman shows love in actions instead of words, you are witnessing a language far older than texting and emojis, a language rooted in survival, in experience, in restraint. She won't flood your phone with heart-filled confessions, but she will remember the details that matter. She will check on you when you're sick. She will remember the date of your big meeting. She will notice when your energy is low and quietly ask if you're okay. That's not noise. That's signal. That's not empty romance. That's substance. The Old Stoic wisdom reminds us, what stands in the way becomes the way. Her silence is not weakness. It is the shield she uses to survive, the armor she wears to protect a heart that once bled too freely. This is where men must wake up. Don't mistake quiet care for an open door. Don't confuse service with surrender. Silent support can feel like love, but love is more than help. It is vulnerability. It is reciprocity. It is risk. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Her actions are her thoughts in motion. But until her vulnerability matches her actions, she is not fully present with you." Let's be clear. Nurturing is not always invitation. Sometimes it is just conditioning, drilled into her since girlhood, that worth comes from being needed, not from being known. And here's the trap. Men mistake usefulness for intimacy. They accept the care, they see the steady flame, but they fail to test the depth. You must test. You must challenge. Respond to her silent support not with casual thanks, but with sincerity. "I really appreciate you remembering that. It means a lot." Then pause. Then watch. That pause is the battlefield. That pause will tell you if she can receive love or only give it. If she leans in, you build a fortress. If she dodges, deflects, or freezes, understand her heart is still locked. Don't ignore it. Don't fantasize that your patience will fix it. A lighthouse with no door will guide you, but never let you in. That is reality. That is Stoicism win. Seeing the truth as it is, not as you wish it to be. Modern life tempts men to settle for half love, to confuse comfort with connection, to accept usefulness as intimacy. Don't. You must demand reciprocity. You must demand courage. A woman who supports you silently is valuable, but a woman who supports you and allows herself to be supported, she is priceless. This is the iron mind you need: clarity without illusion, strength without self-deception. Old Stoic wisdom teaches that victory begins within. You don't chase love that hides. You stand firm until love steps forward. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies, said Aristotle. But two bodies require two doors open, not one. So master this. Appreciate silent support, but never mistake it for completion. Don't cling to half-truths. Don't settle for half-love. Demand the full weight of honesty, vulnerability, and presence. That is how men win. That is how you build, not just survive. That is how you master life, with an iron mind, with stoicism win, with the discipline to see clearly, choose wisely, and never settle for less than real. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us, or simply comment "very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. Number 7, selective vulnerability. Now here's where female psychology gets downright fascinating. A woman who's secretly in love with you but too scared to show it often reveals pieces of herself in a way that looks raw and personal. But don't be fooled. That's not full intimacy. That's controlled exposure. She'll open up about her nightmare boss, her irritating neighbor, or maybe even the story about losing her childhood dog. And on the surface, it feels like she's letting you in. But look closer, she's sharing the safe stuff, the kind that makes her seem authentic without ever risking rejection. Notice the missing pieces. She won't touch the heartbreak that shaped her trust issues, the insecurities that wake her at night, or the fears that keep her heart locked tight. That's selective vulnerability, an illusion of closeness, a smokescreen wrapped in storytelling. And here's the psychology trick. Don't confuse her safe disclosures with the real treasure. If you want to test whether it's surface level or soul deep, ask her something that cuts into her core, not her calendar. Instead of asking what's stressing her at work, ask, what's the hardest lesson you've ever learned about trust? Watch carefully. If she laughs it off, sidesteps, or changes the subject, you're not hearing her truth, you're hearing her armor. And be very clear, that is not the same as intimacy. That is performance. Women who are afraid of falling in love often use this trick to protect themselves. They want connection, but they're terrified of the vulnerability that real love demands. Don't chase her stories. Watch her silences. Don't be distracted by her willingness to talk about her past dog, but reluctance to admit how betrayal still haunts her. That gap between what she shares and what she hides is exactly where the truth lives. Be smart, be observant, and understand that selective vulnerability is both a defense and a clue. If she's doing this with you, it's not because she doesn't care, it's because she cares too much. And the fear of rejection is louder than the desire to confess. That's why knowing these psychology tricks isn't about manipulation. It's about clarity. It's about seeing through the polished stories to the real woman behind them. So don't mistake her surface courage for full surrender, and don't ever confuse storytelling with intimacy. When it comes to how to fall in love with a woman who hides her heart, you must look for the unspoken, not just the spoken. That is the truth hidden in plain sight, and only a man wise enough to recognize it will ever earn the privilege of seeing what she's too scared to show. Number 8, the social chameleon. Let's talk about one of the trickiest signs of hidden affection, the social chameleon. She isn't just changing her outfit, she's changing her entire energy. When it's just you and her, she's warm, attentive, and almost magnetic. Her eyes linger a little longer. Her voice softens. She leans in closer, as if the world outside the two of you doesn't even exist. That's not random. That's intimacy trying to sneak out of hiding. But then, boom. The moment friends or colleagues show up, she flips the switch. Suddenly, she's cooler, distracted, maybe even distant. You find yourself wondering, did I imagine the closeness we had just a minute ago? No, you didn't. What you saw was real. What you're seeing now is strategy. This isn't about mood swings, it's about image management. She's carefully balancing her desire to connect with you against her fear of being exposed. Alone with you, she allows her walls to fall. Around others, those same walls snap back up like a fortress. That contradiction is not chaos, it's caution. Think of it this way. She's playing emotional chess. Each move is calculated. With you in private, she's willing to risk closeness. In public, she retreats to safety because showing affection could cost her pride, her reputation, or maybe even her own sense of control. And here's the lesson. Don't confront her with lines like, "Why do you act different around your friends?" That's a rookie move. A high-value man doesn't whine about inconsistency. He observes it, understands it, and decides whether it aligns with his standards. Remember, consistency is the foundation of emotional truth. If she can't show even a glimpse of affection in public, you're not in a relationship. You're in hiding. That is not where masculine energy thrives. You must be clear with yourself. Do you want to live in the shadows of someone else's fear? Or do you want a woman who can stand beside you confidently? Because here's the reality. Women are deeply attracted to strength. If you want to attract women, don't chase their approval. Don't beg for acknowledgement. Stand firm. Let her see that you are unshaken, even when she plays the social chameleon. It's like watching a play. On stage, she's guarded, professional, maybe even aloof. Backstage with you, she's vulnerable and real. The question is, do you want a woman who only loves you in the shadows, or one who can love you in the sunlight too? Don't forget, your role isn't to decode every mixed signal. Your role is to embody the high-value man she either steps up to meet or she loses. You're not here to carry her fear. You're here to hold your ground with masculine energy and clarity. So, the next time you notice this pattern, don't get frustrated. Don't call her out. Just take note, because if her affection is only a secret, then the love isn't mature, it's hiding. And you weren't built to hide. You were built to be seen. If you recognize the social chameleon in your life, it means you've already uncovered hidden truth most people miss. Comment this to claim it. I see through the shadows of fear. Number 9, strategic silence. Don't mistake it for nothingness. Silence is not absence. It's power. It's communication. A woman who is in love with you but afraid to show it will vanish at key moments, and that vanishing act is no accident. Watch closely. Does she go quiet right after you show her genuine interest? Does she pull back the second you let down your guard, when you finally open up emotionally? Does her voice disappear when you need her most? That's not random. That's strategy. Some women use silence the way a warrior uses a shield, not to attack, but to regain control without risking direct confrontation. Instead of admitting, "I'm scared," or "I'm not ready," she lets the silence speak in her place. That silence creates tension. That silence makes you question yourself. You start asking, did I push too hard? Did I cross a line? Did I mess up? But here's the unshakable truth. Those questions are the trap. The silence is designed to hand her the emotional upper hand. Modern life will constantly put you in situations where people withdraw, hesitate, ghost, or vanish, not just in love, but in business, in friendship, in loyalty. The lesson is the same. Don't chase shadows. Don't let confusion run your life. Stand tall. Let silence test you, not break you. You must cultivate the iron mind that sees through games and resists the pull of emotional manipulation. You must remember that connection flows towards strength, not desperation. That is why you never run after what hides. You wait, you watch, you command. Let her silence reveal her truth. Let her silence expose her fear. And while she wrestles with it, you remain steady, calm, immovable. That is how you master yourself. That is how you master relationships. That is how you master life. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us that the man who can sit in silence without crumbling is the man who wins the game of love, respect, and power. Never forget this. Don't chase the silence, dominate it. Don't break under it, rise above it. Don't doubt yourself, believe yourself. In the end, silence is not the enemy, it is the battlefield. And on that battlefield, the man with an iron mind, the man who lives by Stoicism always emerges victorious. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When she disappears, she is not erasing you, she is testing you. She is wrestling with her fear. She is resisting the pull of closeness she secretly craves. And your mission as a man with an iron mind is simple. Don't chase. Don't collapse into her silence. Let it reveal itself. Because silence after intimacy is not shyness, it is resistance. And resistance speaks volumes. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us that victory lies not in reacting, but in holding the line. Don't beg for her attention. Don't interpret the quiet as rejection. Interpret it as fear, fear dressed in silence. And the man who masters himself, the man who practices Stoicism, knows how to turn that silence into strength. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Number 10, the future fog. This is the moment when she can laugh with you until midnight, share a drink that feels like fire and velvet, and look at you in a way that makes the whole room disappear. Yet the second you bring up tomorrow, the air turns heavy, almost cloudy. You talk about that concert next month, and suddenly she might be busy. You suggest a weekend trip, and she laughs it off like it's a punchline, not a possibility. Even something as small as, "Let's do this again next week," gets swallowed up in a vague, floating, "we'll see." Don't fool yourself into thinking that's spontaneity. Be honest, it's not scheduling conflicts. It's emotional avoidance dressed up as casual uncertainty. That is female psychology at work. She's in love but scared, and fear makes her cautious about weaving you into the tapestry of her future. You must understand, men often confuse this fog for her being independent, or playful, or simply non-committal, but the truth is deeper. If a woman truly envisions you in her future, she won't need to spell it out in neon lights. She'll drop breadcrumbs, subtle hints, gentle inclusions of you in her plans. That's how to fall in love the real way, step by step, day by day, anchoring each other in something solid. But if all you ever get is smoke and mirrors, then you're not her destination, you're her layover. Don't cling to the idea that she's too busy. Be clear with yourself. When a woman wants you in her future, she will make space. When she doesn't, you'll always be standing outside in the fog, wondering why you can't see the road ahead. This is one of those psychology tricks you need to recognize because it saves you from wasting time chasing shadows. Female psychology isn't about grand declarations, it's about patterns. If she dodges every tomorrow, it's not because she doesn't enjoy today, it's because she's terrified of what tomorrow with you might mean. And if you're the man still trying to push through that fog, remember, love isn't about uncertainty, it's about direction. Don't let yourself be a pastime when what you deserve is a place in the plan. That's not just how to fall in love, it's how to stay in love. With clarity, with commitment, and with someone who actually wants you there when tomorrow finally comes. In the end, these 10 signs paint a clear picture. A woman may care about you, she may even have deep feelings, but fear and past wounds can make her send mixed signals. A mature man doesn't rush in to rescue her, and he doesn't walk away too quickly either. He observes, holds his frame, and makes decisions from clarity, not from neediness. So let me ask you, out of these 10 signs, which one have you experienced the most? Do you think it was genuine interest or just emotional defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments because your story might help another man see his situation more clearly. And don't forget to hit like if this breakdown helped you. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future insights into female psychology, and share this video with a friend who's stuck in the confusion of mixed signals. Who knows? This might be exactly what he needs to get his head straight.